we'll bring Tyler Smith in early, then we'll take a break. Tyler can join us now, and then we'll take our first hard break. Tyler, how's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Cannot complain. I was just talking about this year's Indiana team having a little bit more depth than last year, although last year was talked about intently how deep they were, and that just wasn't the case. And this year, actually, it is the case. And I'm still saying that with them being down their starting point guard right now. They're getting the type of play, although they're going to have to get production at guard. It doesn't matter to me how well people think Gabe Cupps is playing, which he did a great job defending at Michigan the other night. He's still going to have to produce some points, 6, 8 points a game, because you lost 11 points a game with Xavier. That's got to be picked up. And yes, Kel'el Ware has picked up his game, and that's great. But you like and you need it spread out across all 5 positions as you join us wearing your Cubby hat today.
Yeah, I got to represent. Winter meetings have been kind of boring, so I'm hoping if I wear this hat, maybe they'll make a couple moves. We'll see. Yeah, I agree with you about Gabe Cupps seemed a little passive in the last couple of games. When he had an open look, he's been more of a facilitator, but fully agree with you that the depth of this team is looking better and better. I was a little concerned there in the first few games about, Mike Woodson hyping it up, and then there wasn't a ton of production, but lately things are looking better in that department, especially when you get Johnson back and, there's 9, 10 guys, sometimes even 11, I think that can contribute. So that's a good thing for this team.
Dave G asking, what does Anthony Leal not do when he's on the floor that would let him play in the game on Tuesday? He seemed like he did fine the last game, and it came out, and he's been missing in action. Well, first of all, you have to ask Mike Woodson that, because it's also part of what they see in practice every day. It's not just what we see in games. So you have to remember that, number one. Number two, there's a lot of times it's matchup issues from a coach's standpoint. They may not like the matchup that a particular opportunity presents itself, and so that could be a reason. So I can't give you the answer why, but if I had to guess, it could be an athletic matchup situation or something like that.
Yeah, I think as far as Michigan goes, Cupps played 32 minutes, and they really like what he was doing, as you said, defensively. So he played a lot of minutes. CJ Gunn had a good game and played about half the game, about 20 minutes. So I think that had a lot to do with it. They like what they saw. And I think Leal right now is kind of in a situation where, if things are not going as planned, or if they need a little spark of some sort, or if there's foul trouble, that's kind of when he's the guy that can step in. But I'm not sure he's going to see regular rotation minutes unless there's maybe multiple injuries.
Justin, with a great statement, said while there's less focus on one person, like last year, Trace Jackson Davis drew most of the attention. This is a team that is is able to stretch defenses because it's not just one guy. You can't think that it's just going to go to Kel'el Ware. You can't think it's just going to go to Malik Renew. It's not just going to go to Mackenzie Mbako, even Trey Galloway. But they still need a fifth option on the floor. And that's why not having Xavier Johnson hurts this team because they're not a good three-point shooting team. You need to have 5 weapons on the floor, in my opinion, to really put the fear of God into some teams. When you don't have that weapon, and Indiana has it in a modicum of amounts right now, that's the only thing they're missing. And again, not talking about 10, 12 threes a game. 6 to 8 would be a winning ingredient for this team.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy when you watch and it's like, man, if there was just one knockdown shooter or maybe one more creator, um, off the drive, it would work wonders for this team. But the good thing is when you look at that Michigan game, how they were doing a pretty good job defending Khalil Ware in the second half. He wasn't getting many touches. He gets obviously the biggest bucket in the game, but the fact that Indiana got down by 6 late, it looked like they were, maybe dead in the water. They go on a 7-0 run. The bench is hyped, and a lot of guys are contributing. Several guys who weren't playing very well in the first half, Galloway, Malik Renew, had a rough start to the game, and those guys come together and they get the job done. So it's like this Indiana team, they keep getting the job done, and for all their faults and for all the concerns that are understandable, winning is what matters. And when the game has been close, they've been getting the job done time and time again. So that's also going to be valuable experience for them playing all these conference games coming up, Auburn and Kansas coming up, to show and to know mentally that when it's close, we can get the job done. But if they could spread it out, if Johnson can get back and get on one of his runs, I want to remind fans that there's been times when he's looked bad in the past, and then he's had a stretch of games where he's kind of exploded. So if that ever happens this year, this team could be pretty dangerous.